So in my current role, I am Director of Digital Solutions and Technology at Bruntwood. For the last 7 years, I've been responsible for all things software, systems, technology at Bruntwood. Bruntwood are a commercial property company, around 45 years old. They own buildings across Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, and they aim to create thriving cities. And we had an instance of Salesforce that we implemented back in 2015, 2016, when we'd really given the then sales team, the then asset management team, the legal team, full access to scope all their individual parts of the system. And we had probably a disconnect between how well used that Salesforce system was and then someone manually keying that information from Salesforce onto our accounting system. And then we had a legacy reporting platform built on top of it, and we had a lot of information going missing because people just didn't use the systems because they were clunky and awkward. What we were completely missing though from that customer view was any insight, knowledge about what was happening when they spoke to us, particularly on the phone. So your email content in your sales activity is well recorded, but if you're a commercial property company, you'll have customers who are spend 20 weeks becoming a customer and might stay with you for 10, 20 years. And so we were missing a huge swathe of information about how those customers interact with us, what sort of things they phone us about. And so when we were sent like the info sheet about RocketPhone, about what you guys were doing, we thought, well, that's a great thing to explore. We really want to speak to people who share our sort of view of that customer intelligence, that ability to understand everything about a customer and to systemize it, automate it, and be leading edge technology. Our ethos has always been that we want to effectively modularize our own systems. So really we're talking about a microservices architecture applied on a monolithic platform. So we wanted so that every component we had could be broken out, replaced, could interact with other components. So when we were talking to you about how we were going to implement RocketPhone and how we wanted it to interact with other things, we were always very aware that it had to be a piece in a jigsaw. So we've probably not asked you to overextend what the core functionalities of the platform are. We've probably never asked you to take on responsibility for things that shouldn't be in the platform. And it's always been about, will that be scalable, interoperable for us going forward? Which is probably, as a developing software platform, what you need to build it anyway. So it happened that for us, our approach to using RocketPhone in our systems tied very nicely into product development for you to be able to reach out to other customers and do the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. So what, in my eyes, RocketPhone primarily is a way of integrating and syncing that voice information that we've got into our CRM for context with customers, potential customers, about what they're doing. So if you imagine we have a view of a customer currently, we've probably got an awareness of how the sales process went with them, how the onboarding process goes. We'll have written communication about serious things. So say they raised complaints, we would have a written record of it. What we don't get is we don't get to hear the phone calls or to understand the content of those phone calls where they might be expressing not complaints but dissatisfaction. We don't understand when they are speaking to us and we've got upsell opportunities that we might take advantage of, we might not take advantage of. So we've got the actual skeleton of what the relationship is with the customers, but we miss all the nuance, all the shade, and all that information that if we could get hold of it would make us much richer in terms of how we can speak to our customers and understand what they're really doing. So any aspect of Bruntwood that has a customer connection, which is supposed to be every single function in the business should be customer oriented and customer minded, potentially has a benefit from RocketPhone for making it so that we actually understand what that interaction is. It goes well beyond just a straightforward telephony. Can it work with mobile phones? Can we use soft phones more? Can we make better use of the transcription features? So yeah, there's a whole raft of areas where we want to roll out and integrate more closely with it. My advice would be, first of all, to make sure that you are very clear on what it is you want to do. You need to not treat RocketPhone as a straightforward VoIP platform. You're not replacing like for like on telephony. What you're buying is the opportunity to extend your business processes. You're buying yourself access to data that you don't currently have. When you're engaging with RocketPhone, that needs to be what you have at the front of your mind, is how can we improve, refine our customer processes, or client process, whatever it might be to help your customers, but how can we actually get much better at understanding what's happening on our phone calls and how can we integrate that into our core systems.